Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning, and welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray in a new year, 2025. How about that, Dave?
I was telling my Rand this morning, I said, we got to get used to putting 2025 on everything. You know, it's usually a week, before I, get into that. But want to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
That's right. And I'm, as you can tell, Dave is on the line from Lexington, Tennessee, and I'm on the line from my home as me and my wife are down both with the flu, and then I injured my back. And I tell you what, 2025 is off to a rough start.
You and your wife shouldn't have been that New Year's Eve wrestling match.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I guarantee you there was no wrestling match at our house. And I've seen enough college football over these past several days that if I see that Depends ad one more time, I think I'm going to throw up. I'm just same ads. And, of course, this is first Saturday, and we're trying to hook up with the birthday boy himself, because January 1st, our man Gene Smith, the birthday. And
and I had one the week before that.
I know it. Would you just let me do this, okay? I'm doing the show from home, and I'm standing up like a mule. But Dave Gabbard had a birthday, Gene had a birthday, and my son actually had his second birthday because, as most of you know, my son Jason is adopted, and we got him when he was 6 weeks old, and his birthday is November the 11th, but we celebrate December the 29th because that's when we got him and took him home with us. And 52 years later, here we are. But Gene and Dave have been part of this show forever, Gene, since we started it. That's the amazing thing is we go into the 25th year this year, and Dave has been on it. I've always tried to look back and see, Dave, when you started, but
I've got about 21 years with you, I think.
That's what I thought.
22.
Yeah. It was somewhere in that range. But anyway, Shelby McCall is taking care of us, and we're hoping for David Beal, the Bassin man himself, Mr. Hillbilly.
Yeah, I am.
David, now you've made my day. Now I can sit back down and hope I don't cry. But thank you, David Beal. I know Shelby was looking for that truck to pull in at the studio there, but appreciate you, David, because you're going to be the man in the studio today.
Absolutely.
I'm getting you prepped, David, for the day that I'm going to have to cut back and looking for help, and you just kind of fit in with what we're doing. So, but anyway, David Beal joins us right now on this first Saturday. This is literally the first Saturday, as we said, of 2025, and to have David on and have Gene coming in, we hope. He's probably still celebrating, Dave Gabbard. I don't know. He's had about 5 parties, I think. So between his birthday.
That's a lot of partying.
That's a lot of partying for a man that's 104 years old too. So that's what the main thing about it. But anyway, I think the only time, and Shelby will correct me, wish she will, that I've used this microphone. Of course, we never missed a show, Outdoors with Larry Ray, during my entire 2-year cancer journey. Excuse me.
Not one.
Not one. There you go, Shelby.
Wow.
But, so I've got this headphone on, and if I start coughing or something along that line, I'm taking a pain pill for my back and start therapy on that next week. But I'll tell you what, there's so much flu going around, David. I don't know if anybody in your family has been struck by the flu bug, but a lot of us have. Of course, David, of course, you folks know David. He's part of this show and will continue to be. He's my hillbilly.
That's right.
He's my man, the crankbait man. I wanted to get David to kick off this new year. Of course, Dave Gabbard is the retired former minister of propaganda for the TWRA. I don't know who gave him that title.
I gave myself that title.
You gave yourself that title.
That's an interesting story. I'll tell it one of these days.
Well, you got time to tell it today down the road. We're going to get that out of
I'm telling it to you right now. I gave myself that title because, years and years ago, when we tried to change the duck blind drawings a little bit, and to go to computerized drawing so everybody could have a chance, because it was always the first Saturday in August. And I always said, well, you're discriminating against law enforcement personnel that can't get off, firemen that can't get off, National Guard troops that drill on that day, because you had to be in person, and doctors and stuff, and people that had to work. I said, that like the duck hunt, to, give them a fair chance of putting in for a blind.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right.
And, the legislature kind of went crazy, and there was a esteemed state senator up there that called us a bunch of communists because we was trying to even the playing field. Yeah. And I said, well, in Russia, you have ministers.
That's right, yeah.
So I'll just be the minister of propaganda. Instead of the information officer, I'll be the minister of propaganda. So...
and that didn't go in your shirt very well, did it? Region 1 TWA Minister of Propaganda, but Dave, you were TWR. How many years for you?
I worked for him 35.
All right. Now, a lot of people, David Beal. David, I got to tell you, we got a show coming up in February, David. I'm going to call on you too. It's almost boat show time. Mm-hmm. And I have checked in, and they've asked me to come back and do the announcements and set up all the seminars. And you can count on that, David. I'm going to get back with you, David, and find out some information. But you folks out there, kind of an introduction here as we start off this 2025 year. That David Beal is in law enforcement, and we were supposed to have 2 law enforcement people in the studio to protect Shelby today, but Vic Thayer is where he ought to be. He deer hunting with his dad, Vic Thayer Sr., and I said, Vic, it's more important for you to deer hunt with your dad than it is to be on this show. But I wanted to showcase because I really was hoping I could be in studio. And I would really feel safe with Dave and Vic both in the studio at the same time because they're both in law enforcement and have been. Of course, Vic's dad's in law enforcement. His sister Belinda's in law enforcement. And it's good to have David Beal in there also. But I brought David in not just because of protection. We don't need no protection. Shelby can handle us.
That's right.
Yeah, and since the statute of limitations has run out on you, there's no worry about that.
Hey, propaganda minister, would you just be? I'll call on you when you're needed. Okay. You guys don't know I'm stir crazy right now. No telling what I might say today. You can only stay in the house so many days.
I know that's right.
Oh, and this flu is really, and I will tell this to you folks out there. A week ago Friday, I took my one pill that was recommended by my doctor. It cost $163 for one pill. And I said, what? And I said, well, it's going to work faster. Well, it did. But my wife got the flu, and her flu medicine was $12. She got sick faster, too. $12 and $163. But anyway, that's just the way the things are. But I know, David, we're going to talk to you a lot about fishing as we kick off the news and things that are going on. But, we're hoping this works out with me at home, Dave Gabbert at home, and David Beal in the studio. But let me tell you about today's show because we're going to do a lot of talking with us three. I can tell you that much. But we're going to talk with, hopefully hook up with Gene Smith. Keep trying on Gene because he's going to have some puns for us. And then later in the show, we're going to talk to my deer processor, another Dave.
That's right.
Man, we're going to break the record for days. We've done this before.
We have.
We got Dave Gabbard, David Beal, and we're going to talk to Dave Payne.
I think it was also
Farms.
David Best.
I think it was. We could have got David Best on there. We just let me stay home and do what I do best, not just rest. But we're going to talk to Dave Payne, and as we wind up the deer season this weekend, of course, my deer season has ended with one deer, but it was a big 8-point. Thanks, Sammy Bell, for helping me get that big 8-point. I have the meat back, and I have seen the mount that Dick Bayer did for me on my the European mount he did on my deer. It is amazing, and we'll have Vic on a later show, but we're going to post that on my Facebook page here real soon of what he's done. And then at the end, we're going to talk a little trout fishing at the very end, because our good friend Levi Moser, who was at on the Little Red out of Lindsay's, he is now transferred further into God's country over at Gaston's White River Resort up there in Lakeview, Arkansas. And we're going to talk to Levi and probably talk to Jake Hanson, general manager at Gaston's Resort. But our main thing is going to be casual conversation between my two Daves and myself, and hopefully the pun master. We can find the pun master. Now, he celebrated his birthday on January the 1st, and I know Dave, you may not know this, Dave Gabbard does, but Gene was the second baby born that year. He was just about 10 minutes behind being the first baby born in 1838, I think. I don't know. It's a long time ago. A long time ago, and he still regrets that he missed out on all the diapers, prizes, and all that stuff like that. And he still talks about it. But anyway, so we'll try to hook up with him. But to have Dave Gabbard on, and to have Dave Bassin man himself, Beal, on with us to talk a little fishing, kind of helps us kick off this year. And guys, I don't know, but like I said, I've been in this house for so long, over a week now, and you know, when you're down and out, you know who your friends are.
That's right.
Well,
really
you know, you had a time enough to sit down and write the great American novel.
That's true, but that's the problem with the bad back. Sitting down is, I feel like a horse. You know, if I sit down, I won't get back up.
Speaking of horses, why don't we try and go and grab Gene in the next segment?
Now, why don't we do that? So let's take a break on this first show of 2025, and I got some things to announce on this next segment too. But Shelby keeps it straight. She has been doing this a long time, and I know she and David Beal there will make it all right inside the studio. So let's take our first break of the morning, and we'll come right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray 2025.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on this first Saturday of 2025. You know, first Saturday at Outdoors with Larry Ray is a special show because it brings together the Three Musketeers, and we've added law enforcement. We've added law enforcement, much-needed law enforcement, in the show today. Yeah, to keep us apart, so to speak. But you heard that voice. We finally got him up this Saturday morning. He's had so many parties to attest to. Birthday parties, New Year's parties, and that is the one and only Gene Smith. Hey, Gene.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Gene. All right. Now, birthday, and I was trying to tell him. And of course, Dave Gabbard, I don't want a second chance. He's on the line, too, from Lexington. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Larry.
And then we have that special guest in studio besides Shelby. She's always special. Is the hillbilly himself, Mr. Crankbait. Now, he's not just a crankbait. He's a square bill crankbait, man.
That's right.
That's our good friend David Beal. Good morning, David.
Good morning, everybody.
Glad to have you in with us. Wish
yeah.
I was there. Folks, my wife and myself recovering from the flu, and we are getting better on that. And just didn't want to take any chances being in the studio today. But we hope to be back next week. But we've got Gene on the line, and Gene, I told him your birthday was the 1st.
Correct.
And birthday number what, Gene? I told him 104, but I think I was a little off. But,
84.
84. Well, I wasn't but 20 years off. That's okay.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, Gene's 3 years older than me. Won't get into all that because got Shelby and David Beal, our young pups in there. But,
That's right.
Tell them now, Gene, if I'm not mistaken, you were the second baby born that year, right? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Mama said she heard the bells and whistles go out when she went under.
Well, how close were you to being number one?
Oh, I don't remember. That was a long time ago. I was kind of small.
You were kind of small. Oh, yes, he was. But anyway, good to have Gene with us. And, 2025 is going to be all of our shows are special, but we're going to zero in on this 25th year on the air. Right now, part of the Odyssey family of radio stations there. And, being down with the flu and things along that and the bad back, it just, as I told you in that first segment, we didn't miss a show in my 2-year battle with cancer and doing really good on that. And
amazing.
You don't really know who your friends are, as I mentioned earlier, until you get down. And I appreciate all the folks who have sent me texts and emails about this flu deal and all the other things that go along with it. But it's going to be a special year. We have TWRA is coming back as a sponsor, which is great because I don't know, Dave Gabbard, TWRA, as we kind of been part of this show right out of the chute, I think. Gene and Dave and, Gene, we were right with TWRA when we started this thing. And,
right.
And to know that they still support the show with Commissioner Bill Cox and all the folks and Jason Mascadon, the executive director of the TWRA. So we have kept that connection, but we have added 2 new sponsors starting this year, starting in this Saturday. I think we've already started them, but I want to welcome Ducks Unlimited as part of Outdoors of Larry Ray, right down the road from us, a great Memphis institution that for the duck hunter, and so they're joining us, and I want to recognize my good friend Jimbo Robinson. He is the Ducks Unlimited Managing Director for Event Marketing and Field Support. And Jimbo will be on next week's show to help us kind of kick this off. And also our good friends down at West Point, Mississippi, and that's B&M Poles with our good friend Jack Wells. Coming on as sponsors of Outdoors of Larry Ray. You just don't know what that means. If you'd like to be a sponsor, you can go to my website, LarryRay.com, and there's ways you can be a sponsor of the website. You can be a sponsor of the radio show. But we hope to get Jack on next week's show to talk about that too. But, hey, we couldn't do it without you listeners, but we really couldn't do it without you sponsors out there. Be on the air 25 years. Just say, David Beal was like 5 years old.
That's
when
right.
He started this thing. Now he's a pup. I was a kid back then. To do this thing, and a lot of folks have asked me, am I formatted or not?
Oh yeah.
Nobody answer that.
Oh yeah.
I'm formatted.
Oh yeah.
All right. I got segments and everything. Well, when I set up today's show, I forgot a whole segment. So there you go. I mean, you can only take too many pink pills, So for some reason, as Shelby pointed it out, as only Shelby could, that we were short a segment. Well, we're not, because I got some folks on the line can talk. I give them a chance. That's what's one thing. That's what my wife says. Give other people a chance to talk. So I'm gonna go take a nap, and I'll be back in about 30 minutes and leave it with you guys. No, I won't do that to you. No. Let's introduce that. No, we don't. Let's start with a little. We need a little excitement here. And the pun master himself is with us. He's been doing puns for as long as I can remember. And I know we're the only radio show with our own pun master. We're the only radio show that has their own poet laureate. That's Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we need to get Charlie back involved, but he's working so much that he can't. But pun master, give us a couple of puns. I need some help here.
All right. Yeah, I went to a restaurant the other day and I was looking at the menu and I asked the waiter, "What's a honeymoon salad?" He said, "Lettuce alone without dressing."
Did you get that, Gabbard? Did you get that?
Oh yeah. I'm glad I didn't
alone
take a sip of coffee while I was listening to that.
Lettuce alone without. Here we go now.
I also asked him, I was kind of waiting on my food. I said, how long is the spaghetti? He said, "I don't know. I never measured it." He misunderstood me.
Y'all stick around because, he's wired now. He's another year older and like me, deeper in debt probably. But to do this,
Wow.
let's introduce David again because, I call him Hillbilly, and probably people are going to say, what in the world does he mean by that? He's a square bill cranking man, too, also, but he's also in law enforcement. How many years, David?
22.
22 years. He kicks down doors, things along that line, but he also loves the outdoors, and he told me he's also killed an 8-point. Now, he didn't brag about it or anything like that, but he set me straight in a hurry. I know that, so... killed a nice 8-point. Good for you, David. But let's talk about 2025 and the opportunity, David. We're going to get some cold weather coming in next week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so January is one of those months, folks. And I know David will say this, but not only you got to be prepared for what you're going after and have all the right lures and everything like that, but you got to be prepared for the elements, don't you, David?
Absolutely. We're going to get into that a little further in the show, but right now, you got to wear layers. One thing about next week is coming up, and it's actually about to drop dramatically. And
yes.
It's going to have a nice, good wind chill to it as well. So layers going to matter. And if y'all didn't know, you can stop by Target out there and get you some of them heated socks or a Bass Pro Shop, and that'll help them toes. If you keep them toes warm and keep that head warm, your whole body can pretty much stay warm. Us hunters and fishermen know you keep them feet warm and that head warm, you can stay warm out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that more later on. And I think layers matter, and keep your vitamin C up, keep your vitamin D up, and keep your immune system strong by taking different types of herbal teas and stuff. And that's what I do. And I'm hardly ever sick, and I think that helps a lot.
Well, you mentioned that herbal tea, and now I know that my granddaughter does that too, and she's sick right now, so she's taking.
Just shot that down.
Yeah, well, I don't want to shut it down, but I'm just saying, if you got to be prepared for all sorts of things.
Right.
And I'm thinking right now, Dave Gabbard, all my friends, and I've got my brand new Frog Talks waders.
All right.
Ready for Arkansas and Frank Martin. I got to get over this stuff, but Dave, you know that as a wildlife officer, we're coming up, and particularly for you duck hunters out there listening on this Saturday morning, whether you're in Brownsville on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM, or News Talk 101.5 in Jackson, or right here, of course, on AM 790 every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30. But Dave, duck hunting, we always say, and I've heard great reports so far on the season, particularly in Arkansas and Reelfoot.
Mm-hmm.
But Dave, you got to be prepared for the elements too. But duck hunters are prepared, I think. Right, Dave?
Yeah, and one of the biggest thing that I've seen, duck hunting, somebody that you can tell the serious duck hunters by their equipment, especially their boats. This time of year, when the water gets up and gets out and you got wind and these fronts coming through and the waves, sometimes in little old 14-foot John boats, you have no business being out there, So, I've been lucky enough that when I was doing a lot of duck hunting, my main duck hunting boat was a big 18-foot commercial fishing John boat that had 24-inch sides and a 60-inch bottom in it.
That's right. Yeah, and we
So,
know that the mighty Mississippi doesn't. We don't call that the mighty Mississippi mighty for nothing.
That's right.
If you know that, David Beal, and I know my friend Andy Tweed and Gene Smith, the hunter education instructor, knows you got to be prepared. But you tackle that Mississippi River in a 14-foot John boat, bad things could happen.
That's right. And it's one of them rivers you got to know, because a lot of people say, I've got a big river out there. Well, if you've ever seen it in low water, all them dikes out there and stuff. And so you got to do your homework, and you got to be prepared.
Very dangerous. I pulled somebody off a sandbar last year.
Did you really?
I did.
Yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah. Speaking
Wow.
of sandbars, a lot of people don't realize a lot of those sandbars are almost actually floating. That's why them kids drowned a couple of years ago out Shelby Forest, a woman and a child, because they fell through the sandbar.
He's absolutely correct.
And I know that's kept Andy Tweed busy a lot of his career doing some nasty work, and of course, Dave knows that from his time with the agency that we're getting deer season ends today, and we're going to get to the point where, golly, things are going to happen that don't take any chances. That's the thing about it. Don't take any chances at all. And I just posted something on my webpage, my Facebook page, and the web page about what happened in Tipton County. Tipton County men lose hunting privileges for 3 years. And you go to LarryRay.com and read that story, or go to tnwildlife.org. But these guys got all sorts of hunting violations. But at the same time, we got to feel safe when we're out there. And I know when we get back with David on Beal on one of our segments here, we're going to talk about the changes in clothing. That you just hit a nerve there, Dave Gabbard, about what we can wear now compared to what we could wear. When you and I were growing up, and what camo was then. What are you laughing about, man?
Y'all had fig leaves.
Yeah, no.
What? How about we elaborate further on that in the next segment?
Yeah, we're going to take a break right now. We got to elaborate on that on the next section. I'm going to let.
He don't probably remember the old black galoshes with your feet in bread sack.
No, he don't remember that. But we'll remind him on the next segment. Let's take a break on the Outdoors with Larry Ray. Come back with Fig Leaf Beal coming up next on the show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and again, welcome new sponsors, Ducks Unlimited, and the good friends at B&M Poles. And thank you for the TWRA to joining us again for 2025. And yes, I am home, recovering from the flu, some back issues, but you don't keep this old geezer down very long. I can tell you that. Got my new Frog Togs waiters over there looking at me right now, and I can't wait to get my one leg in it at a time. Don't ever try to put two at a time, and that's when I find out I get in trouble. But as we always did, it's on first Saturday. We have Dave Gabbard from Lexington, Tennessee. Good morning again, Dave.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes, and of course we got the hunter education guru himself, Mr. Gene Smith, birthday boy, just turned middle age for a 168-year-old man. Figure that out. It came to my head real easy. But good morning, Gene.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And then, of course, one of our young pups on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And you folks know him. He is the hillbilly, square bill crank man himself, and that's David Beal. Good morning, David.
Happy New Year. Good morning, everybody.
And let's talk again. I don't want to wait anymore because we got this front coming through that we mentioned, we kind of played on some words there. David threw in some Leafs in there. I got camo that's got Leafs on them now, but I had camo that just came straight from Surplus City. People say, "Wow, that's a long time ago." I mean, this is before Realtree, Mossy Oak, before Spartan, and all the other ones, Jim Crumbly, and all the guys like that. Let's talk a little bit about the next month. We're going to do a lot of talk on Outdoors with Larry Ray about duck hunting, because that's going in right now as we lead toward everything else. But let's talk about the change. And our good friends at Radiance, we know Mary Patron and those folks out there are DeWalt.
Super nice people. Super nice people.
Yeah. And DeWalt is part of their family. And I was happy to get one of their new heated jackets.
Oh, wow.
It is really nice. There's no way that you can be cold with those heated jackets on. And then, of course, David Beal mentioned about the keeping your feet warm. There's so many things now. I got a Christmas present for my son, some heated socks.
That's
from
right.
Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And they are amazing. And, of course, I've got my heated jacket that I gave to my son, who works outdoors, and he's out in the elements. But let's talk about changes here. All right, first let's go with Dave Gabbard. Dave, as a duck hunter, you know that equipment has really changed at duck hunting. And
Oh yeah, the
staying safe and the clothing or whatever. Give us some.
yeah, the clothing has gotten thinner and the clothing has gotten warmer.
Yes.
You know, it used to be you felt like the Pillsbury Doughboy, you know, when you had all the gear on, and but now some of the insulate materials and stuff, and that you can, as David was saying a while ago, you layer it, and you almost have to watch out that even though it's thin, that you don't have too much of it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's one of the things, and I know, David, if you think about it, we don't want anybody to get out in dangerous places and stuff. I mean, duck hunters, the main thing they got to do is just get to the blind, and they can stay warm in the blind and things like that. You deer hunters can do it now, too, as we close into the last weekend of the Tennessee season, the regular season. But David, you've seen the changes yourself, even in law enforcement. You guys have to be prepared for elements, don't you, David?
Absolutely. I think the law enforcement, the ones that are not hunters, they oftentimes ask me, how do I keep warm out there? And for me, I have to explain to them as a hunter. I kind of give them tips on how we do it as hunters, and I enlighten them on how to keep their headgear on for the most part, because if it's raining and storming and stuff like that, we got to be out there still. The rain jackets and stuff that the department and stuff issued to us, it's not like hunters could buy. So I kind of give them tips on how I do it as a hunter, and add some of those hunting undergarments to their uniform garments. And I think that absolutely help them keep a little bit warmer out there.
And Dean Smith, from the hunter education aspect of it, and I'll ask David Beal too about this hypothermia.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you have 4 thermostats on your body: your hands and your feet. If you can get them warm, when your blood circulates, it'll warm your body. Down is really good, but when it's wet, it's not very good. Mm-hmm. But wool is the best. Wool clothing is the best.
That's right.
I swear by those grabbers, those hand warmers, and I get one of those things and I put it in my pocket over my heart. And I put on anything I need, with those things. But with this new hunting heated jacket, it's amazing. I mean, you don't have to have hardly anything else in there.
Right.
But I'm going to confess right here. Gabbard, get ready for this, okay? I don't know if I've ever told anybody this in my life, but, the old days, and I'm saying old days, camo pattern was just Army, looked like.
Right.
Got to have a boot camp.
Like the fig leaf days.
Yeah. Oh, there you go again. Now he brought it back in again. Now, Shelby, can we edit that out? Okay, but I can remember being in my deer stand, and I used to carry around one of the charcoal heaters.
Oh yeah.
Up in the woods, and I put it in my deer stand. Of course, now I got a buddy, heaty buddy, whatever you call them, that work off propane. But I can remember one cold morning in Hardeman County hunting on the Tigner farm, and all of a sudden I was cold, and I'm hunting open air in the burlap bag stand, and I smell something smoking. What in the world is this out here? What are you laughing at? I ain't even told it yet. So I looked down and my pants are on fire. I mean, Okay, I've told it now. It's out now. But I mean, I quickly extinguished it. But I did a couple of hot flips, and I don't think there's many deer around for the next hour. But you just gotta be prepared for the hunt and hunt safely. And this day and time.
Well, you remember the football players that drowned with the waders on?
I remember, Gene. Yeah. And hey, you hit another nerve there that even our waders, Dave Gabbard, are much more better now than we used to.
Oh yeah, it used to be all you had to was the old red ball waders.
Yep. And when I got them here, and these are so lightweight, and yet they're warm. But folks, we're just talking right now on Outdoors with Larry Ray with David Beal, Gene Smith, and Dave Gabbard about being prepared when you head to the woods or wherever you might be. And I know. What?
Was talking about battery-powered socks a little while ago. Funny story.
Yeah.
That back in the days when we was doing a lot of turkey trapping and relocating, we had one site off the Tennessee River on the Tennessee National Wildlife Refuge, and we'd come in by boat and up into the blind, and one of the technicians that was helping me he was kind of elderly, and he had feet stayed cold all the time. He had battery powered socks, but to make them last, he had a long wire that's probably 50 foot that would run down to the boat and hook to the boat battery.
What?
Oh boy.
He was serious.
He was. Only thing he had to do if we shot the net, he had to be careful to disconnect, or he'd fall flat on his face from the wire.
Yeah, he was serious about keeping warm.
We can laugh at those things, and that's what we have to do. But as Gene was saying, this next month of the duck season, let's have a successful duck hunt, and the camaraderie is about as I know it's so important for you duck hunters out there. You can't get very much camaraderie at the deer stand. They have got some double ones now, and of course we're in a box stand sometimes. But just be safe, take it easy, and be safe when we get to this situation. And I know I'm looking at some of these small games. Here's your opportunity. My man Billy Montague out there in Somerville, rabbit hunting, great time during the month of January. You know that, don't you, David Beal?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, for rabbit hunting. Of course, the squirrel hunting is still going on, and so we got those and everything like that. But let's just know we got the young sportsman hunt, deer hunt. That is January 11th and 12th in Tennessee. So you do that, and then of course you've got the duck season going to the end of the month, and you got. But the rabbit season, it goes through February 28th.
That's right. Quail
season through February 28th. The squirrel hunt goes through, I look at this thing, and there is goes through March 15th, but I have never squirrel hunted in that spring squirrel hunt. It's in May 10th through June 8th.
The old timers used to call that spring season, or that was before we had it. That was the mulberry season.
The mulberry season. Okay.
Yeah, the mulberry. In the May and stuff. The mulberries. If you knew where some mulberry trees were, and the fruits came on, the squirrels love mulberries. So
I didn't think anything about that. But squirrel hunting, the folks, is going on. But I highly recommend Billy Montague and his Billy's Guide Service right out of Somerville, Tennessee. You can go on LarryRay.com, and Billy's one of our sponsors on that. And I know you talk about let's have fun. That's one of his mottos there, is to have fun. And Dave Gabbert's been there before. We know what he can do. But this is going to be a cold January. My duck hunters,
hey, speaking of fun, Larry, you ready for the next segment?
I'm ready for the next. I just love this.
He's a wild and crazy guy.
I am that. Me and my wife are going stir crazy here at the house. Let's take a break. Come right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray. And this may be a real fun segment. We're going to turn David Beal loose. Square Bill Crank Guy coming up right now on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
It's good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. Again, as I'm at home reporting, as me and my wife recover from the flu, which I understand is a strain A. It's going around for a lot of folks. And it caught us. It caught me first, and then it caught my wife, and a lot of other folks that are dealing with sickness right now. We hope we bring you a little light into a dark world on Saturday mornings. Yeah, thank you a lot. Speaking of light, I was telling them about my incident with my old coveralls catching on fire. But then I started thinking about, man, I was carrying that big old. It was a heavy deal, propane like heater that you put in the stand at that day. You had to light it on top. The propane was in there. But now with my buddy heater, I can leave it in the stand. And we've talked about all the changes and everything. So kind of touched on that a little bit. But let's get back to David Beal and Dave Gabbert and Gene Smith. And you guys got a memory you want to throw out today? I've expressed mine. I laughed and everything. All right.
I do have a memory. So
okay. You were wearing leaves, I think, at that time.
I wish I would have had fig leaves for this memory. Maybe they would have been warmer.
All right, can we tell this on the radio?
It's radio friendly.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I was 12 years old, and my uncle and the ones that named me Hillbilly took me down on the Mississippi River where I yet hunt, and we were deer hunting. And they woke me up early in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, get ready. They didn't tell me how to dress. They did not tell me. They wanted to they wanted to know that I wanted to hunt for real. I only put on some rubber boots, a pair of jeans, a long sleeve shirt with one long john. I went out there and I froze. Lord have mercy. And my uncle them asked me, when we come out the woods, it came and got me a couple hours. And he asked me, he said, "Do you still want to hunt?" And I guess the question is answered, because guess what? I'm almost 50 and, hey, I'm still hunting.
But you're there you go. Out, but I bet you changed your wardrobe now, though.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely not fig leaves.
How about you, Gene Smith?
Yeah, he's right about that being cold. One time me and Dan and Pete Creek were trapping turkeys out Shrubbery Forest. They was talking about the Magnum XYZ issues that the agency give them. I was in my Walmart special. My teeth were chattering. I said, I'll be so glad when this is over.
Walmart special.
Walmart special. That's better than Kmart special. Okay.
I'm telling you.
Special. Blue light. What about you, Dave Gabbert?
And I was sitting there thinking the other day about memories and stuff, and this one has to do not with coal, but it had to do with a hunter ed class.
Oh, okay.
And, I was fortunate enough one time I was asked to teach a hunter ed class to a bunch of young men from an Amish community.
Oh, Amish community.
So
Okay.
Amish community. So I enjoyed it because it was mostly hands-on show. It was like show and tell. You had the equipment and stuff because no electronics. We was in a little one-room schoolhouse, that was lighted at night because we did it after they finished their chores and stuff, with Coleman lanterns and stuff. But what I remember the most was the day that we shot when we finished the class, because we always had a firearms practical.
That's right.
And most of the time, if you had the space, we threw clay targets and let them shoot shotguns. We were out in pasture out there behind the schoolhouse, and of course they came up, and there was there was two brothers. One was like 14, one was 13, and they came on up in the wagon with two mules. So they got there early, and so they unhitched the mules and took them over there, and then they came on over, and we got everybody ready and gave the instructions. Well, when we threw the first target, and the person shot and pulled that trigger, them mules busted loose and busted through a gap, and down the woods they went. And one brother looked at the other and said, "I thought you tied them mules." And the other brother looked at him and said, "I thought you tied them mules." So we had to quit and chase mules before we could finish.
and they're such friendly animals too. I don't think you probably found them in very short time either. But I was thinking there, Gene Smith, you've taught so many hunter-edu classes in your really amazing career. You won all these awards and everything like that. Were you there when I took my test, Gene? I don't know if you were or not, but
no. We was at the community center, Singleton Community Center, and the fire marshal said we only have so many, and you came in late, so we had to excuse you. So you went to Joe Reed's class, and they told you failed your course.
Yeah, you're telling my story now. So I was it was out on Cottonwood in Parkway Village.
Right.
And, I took it with my son Jason, and I've told this story before. I don't mind telling the story. So I studied and all that kind of stuff, and I went outside and waiting on the results, and they said, "Larry, we need to talk to you." And I okay, what? And they told me, said, "You failed the class." I said, "Oh man, the outdoor editor to commercial appeal, and I failed the hunter education class. I mean, what happened?" I said, "Well, just didn't make a high enough score." So I go in there and look over my paper, and of course they're all bursting and laughing. They gave me a fake score, so I passed it. Okay, I don't know how I did it, but I did pass it. But so when it gets down to it, hunter education is so important, and Gene knows this, and Dave knows this, and David Beal knows this also. But it's one of those things, folks. It's changed too, hasn't it, Gene? I mean, now you can do it online. And
at one time, they taught me in having a class at the Agri Center. I had 97 people. It was a one-day course, and I kept telling them kids they're going to fail. And a couple of them were cutting up on the back of the room, and I sent them home, and I couldn't get anybody to talk to me after that. That's when I was really hard-nosed.
Well, it doesn't surprise me on that, but you've had the opportunity again. This is Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're talking outdoors every Saturday morning. Right here in Memphis at 9 to 10:30 on AM 790, but you get folks at Brownsville 1520 AM and 95.3 FM from 6 to 7:30, and of course in Jackson on News Talk 101.5 from 6:30 to 8. And like I said, we have three new sponsors. We have three sponsors for this year, including the TWRA, which has been a part of the Outdoors with Larry Ray team for many, many years. And now our good friends at Ducks Unlimited and B&M Poles, and we welcome them aboard. All right, are you guys big on resolutions? Dave Gabbert, do you make resolutions every year?
I don't really, make a resolution, but I guess I told my wife, she wasn't too happy. I said, I think for 2025, I'm not going to shave.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to see how long my beard can get.
Yeah, right.
Oh my goodness! Oh yeah. Well, You need to do like there was a photographer.
My only problem is I'm afraid if I let it get too long, I'll be shooting one of my flintlocks and I might go up like a dandelion, you know.
There you go. See there? Oh, my. Okay. I mean, we had a photographer commercial field, the late Bob Williams, great photographer. And he took a picture every day. I think it was his daughter of her first year. Every day.
Oh, yeah.
365 pictures of her. And that was pretty amazing. He committed to do that as a resolution. And I think it ended up in Life magazine or Look or one of those.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that he did that. And then, of course, you know, I don't make resolutions. You know, I live, you know, whatever the Lord wants me to do, I follow His guidance. But I read like yesterday that of the resolutions that people make, most of them skip them within less than a month, and a lot of them skip them within
mine
a
did
week.
it quicker. Yeah, mine's about a week. Yeah.
A week. How about you, Hillbilly? How about you, Dave?
I don't make resolutions. I trust the Lord. When I get up in the morning, that's a resolution. That to me is a blessing. You know, that's another day that He gave me on this earth, and I think that's my resolution every day.
Amen to that.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate your service in law enforcement, you first responders, and everything else. The way the world is now, David, it's just unbelievable the way things happen, and we don't understand it all. But that's why the outdoors is so important.
Yes.
To me and all you folks out there listening in on this Saturday morning. I don't know how many of you are out there listening. There may be 4 of you, because they're all David Beal's family. But, I mean, I don't know who's out there. We never know. I mean, truck drivers going down the interstate in Mississippi, and they'll say, did you just talk about fig leaves or something? I pull over and said, hey, did y'all hear that guy talk about Memphis about them fig leaves? You know, and next thing I'm getting an email from some guy, some trucking firm. You talking about fig leaves?
The thing is, God give them fur animals to make clothes.
That's right.
That's right. He did, and which leads us into, we're going to let Dave Gabbard and Gene Smith go after this segment, because we're going to switch into get some open lines here as we switch in gears a little bit, talk a little deer and everything. But how about anything from anything special in 2025? Anybody's looking forward to?
Yeah, I think in 2025, I want you guys to think about fishing.
There you go.
Yeah, I want y'all to think about it. So do not be ashamed or afraid to go out there. First, we already talked about how you layer up and get the heating jackets and the heat socks and everything. Get out there and throw you some jigs. Black, blue is good this time of year.
There you go.
You know, black, red is definitely a good color. Throw you some orange and reds, rattle traps and red-eye shads, and that water down there. Oh yeah, y'all don't be afraid to get out there today either. You know,
got me excited. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, fish those baits kind of slow. Don't fish them as fast as you would, you know, in the summertime when the water temperatures are much higher. However,
slow it down.
Those big girls, they still up there ready to bite. They ready to eat.
Those big girls. I like that. I like that. And this is a time you can catch some big folks with big fish. And we're going to talk in the last segment for my good friends up at Gaston. They're catching some big trout. January and everything like that is catching some big fish and everything like that. But you know, we got these guys here, and I know all we really stressing today on today's show is safety. Okay,
absolutely.
That's right, safety. You know, the outdoors when you're participating. You know, we live in a day of microwave ovens and nanoseconds and how fast stuff is, and you know all this stuff. But you know, when you're out in the outdoors, slow down. Slow down.
That's it. I think that's important.
We can't smell the roses in January, but slow down and smell.
That's right.
Just bring in what the good Lord has done for us, whether it's blue skies or gray skies or whatever it might be. But I appreciate you, Dave, and Gene, for what you have meant to Outdoors of Larry Ray, and always have been.
You know what I'm looking for in the 2025?
What are you looking for, Dave Gabbard?
You getting that tamer pulled off that rifle.
I'm doing that.
All right.
Well, I will say, yeah, I'm going to take it to my good friend Keith Warner and get that tamer taken off just as soon as I can get out and about a little bit. But
Is that a resolution?
That's a resolution.
Don't let it pass a week.
No, well, as soon as I get this back ready and the flu out of the way, I'm going to fly the coop here and get that thing out. Dave's been telling me to do that for I don't know how many years, but now that I got a reloading phenom now, get set up for me, and I killed that deer one shot this year. But anyway, how about it, Shelby? We can
Yeah, let's get into our next segment.
Let's get it. All right, let's get it on. David, Gene, y'all have a great week. We'll talk.
All right, take care. They're wearing the trout out in Edmond Park.
That's right. All right, David, Beal, you hang on. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. And got David Beal in studio with us this morning. Dave Gabbard and Gene Smith have moved on. And David Beal, I appreciate you doing this again, buddy, for I'm home, recovering from the flu with my wife, and all sorts of things going on. My deer season has ended, but I'm not complaining at all. I'm happy to get my 8-point. I'm happy you got an 8-point, David Beal.
That's right.
But most of all, I'm happy I was able to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, I was happy to be associated with my place where I take my deer and have for several years. That's Dave and Melissa Payne with the Pipe Dream Farms Butchery. Good morning to you, Dave.
Hey, good morning.
All right, Dave. It's wrap-up time. You guys getting ready to go to the Caribbean, or you going to start killing cows and goats and everything?
Yeah, that's right. We got livestock already scheduled for mid-January or so, but we're still slammed. I mean, it's been a great season for us. We ended up with another 40 over New Year's.
Wow.
So I mean, we've had plenty. We got plenty to do.
You got plenty to do. And
that's for sure. Yeah. So the end of the season is the 5th. Unfortunately, they took away that last 30 days that we had over the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
With CWD hunts. So that's it. It's on the 5th, and then we got the one more juvenile. So if anybody's got a juvenile that hadn't been lucky enough to take anything, then we'll still be here. I believe that's the Saturday and Sunday. We'll still be here taking. Yeah. Yep. We'll still be here waiting on them.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the season, Dave Payne. I know you're busy, and I'm taking you away from. But I know you'll be open today. You'll be open this Saturday, starting at 9. I think, David.
That's correct.
Opening time, somewhere around that, and then of course tomorrow, with a forecast like we're getting for rain and things. But talk about the season, and I thought about that also because we had a lot of hunting opportunities last year, and we had with CWD, and that kind of knocked some of us out of doing that. But talk about the season itself for you guys, because I know you got your drop-off facility. How did it compare? Are you on target from last year as we end?
Well, I think I think we're going to finish a little stronger. Do everything on the back end. We opening week. Bow season was pretty good. A little better than historically, so it wasn't too much to complain about. And then gun season opened, and man, that opening morning hit right with that little bit of rut we had and that cold weather snap, and we took about 258 deer on that Saturday and Sunday. And so, that shut us down for a little bit. we had to play catch up for a couple of days after that. And then it just seemed that every time we would open, we'd have to close back the next day. We were getting 50, 55, 60 a day. And I don't know what the deal was. I think it was just a perfect storm. They cut our season down shorter, opened it up on a traditional opening weekend. The little bit of rut hit, the weather turned perfect. It was just a perfect storm. And and it hit everybody from here to Dyersburg.
That's right.
And, so everybody stood up, everybody slowed down. Nobody could take deer. So, we got some things in the plans for next season. We're going to do things a little bit different on the opening weekends, and try to stay open as long as we can to take. It's not an easy decision when you got to shut the doors. It's not good for the processors, and it's not good for the hunters.
That's right.
So but with that.
That's a great point you just made.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, we're going to do a few things a little different next season, and we'll get into that later on. But as far as this season, it's been a wonderful season. We got a great staff here. Everybody's just, we're at each other's throats by now in this building, confined together for, 15 hours a day, 7 days a week. But, they're pressing on through it just like we are. So, it's almost over, and we're going to make the best of it.
Well, I know, again, we're talking to Dave Payne of Pipe Dream Farms Butchery, right off Burrow Cemetery Road out near Slingshot Charlie's, right off US Highway 70, which, if you didn't know, folks, that is the number one highway in the state of Tennessee. At one time, you could only get to Bristol, Tennessee by starting on Highway 70 in Memphis and driving all the way to Bristol. And
that's for sure.
When you head to Dave's place and you see that sign that says the first U.S. highway, if you think about the history, and then
that's right.
And you guys have done this, and of course Dave's retired from the sheriff's department, and we're big on law enforcement. Here's David Beal, his tenure with law enforcement, things along that line. But I know, Dave, when you guys are a full service place too. I mean, you don't.
We are.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I mean, you changed the name. To make it more personable, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got a name like you got, man. Pipe Dream Farms. Give me a break.
That's right. Yeah, but you're right. We are a full-service shop. We butcher all livestock, anything but poultry. You can call us, 901-870-2819. Get on the books if you're raising cattle or you're raising sheep, lambs, hogs, goats, whatever, and you need them processed, call us. We'll fit you in on the schedule. If you just want to buy one and eat one, we'll hook you up with the ranchers that raise them. We make several grilling novelties that we can start back in January. We'll keep those going, and we'll do 12, 14 different flavors of bratwurst, and a lot of different stuff that you can't find anywhere else, like boudin and. A lot of Cajun dishes that you can't find anywhere else, and we make every bit of it by scratch.
Beautiful.
So, what about that? The one I got that I really like is that shotgun shell. I don't know what it is.
That's right, them shotgun shells, boy. Those are pretty fantastic. That's for anybody that doesn't know. Real quick, it's a manicotti noodle that's stuffed with our breakfast sausage and wrapped in bacon, and it just comes together just unbelievable.
So how are you preparing it? How are you preparing the shotgun shell?
So what I like to do is grill it. You just grill it till the bacon's the thick, cooked the way you like it, and kind of slow, because the bacon wrapped in it will trap the steam and it'll cook the noodle.
Got it.
Yes,
inside.
yeah.
So, it is. You'll make yourself sick on them, that's for sure.
Wow.
I bet a lot of
really
folks
good.
did that. The New Year's parties. If you don't have any of the Pipe Dream Farms specialty deals, as he's talking about out there, that's your kind of place. But I really want to thank you, Dave, you and Melissa. You're like family. You put up with me for several years here now, and wait till you see this mount that Vic Thayer has made of my deer. Folks, you take care of your deer, you get back your own deer. This is your deer when you pick up your meat. It's not somebody else's, and somebody dropped it along the road.
Very important.
That's right. So that's what sets us apart. We don't batch anything. We don't swap anything. I mean, we've had people come in here and say, "Man, I forgot to order a summer sausage. Can I buy one?" And you can't, because we don't batch anything.
That's right.
We're 100%. You can get anything until we cut that deer.
That's right.
So that sets us apart.
That's very important.
That's right. It is a little bit different. But we're happy to be part of the Larry Ray team. And we thank y'all for everything you do for us.
Well, I like to think that we've been a team, and you just
That's
mentioned
right.
that. That's what we've tried to do. And Dave is he and Melissa are personal folks. You'll enjoy talking to them if they have time, but most of the times they're busy out there.
That's right.
You need to get one of their sweatshirts or something, man. I'm decked out whenever I go, and I take care of that thing. When I walked in with my sweatshirt the last time, David said, "Man, that looks like you ain't worn it yet." Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Nobody touches my pipe dream farm butchery. Okay, I'm not worried about out in the field and getting any blood on it or anything like that.
That's right.
Hey, we appreciate
Yes,
it,
sir.
Dave. Man, thank you, and Happy New Year, and we'll
Yep.
stay in touch. We'll probably hook up with you after the season too, and get
Okay.
kind of a little wrap up of everything. All right, buddy. Y'all have a
That
great
sounds-
weekend. All right.
That sounds great. Y'all have a good day. Bill, we'll
All
see
right,
you.
thank
All right, I see you, man.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That's two law enforcement people talking to each other, Beal and Payne. They don't know their first names. They just talk like that. It's a camaraderie, folks.
That's right.
And we do this too because Thayer and Beal.
That's right.
Those kind of, but really, that's when I think about it, Dave, and your connection here and the way we brought each other on. I want to emphasize again, folks. The dates are coming up. I'll post them all on LarryRay.com for the annual boat show. Man, that thing's been going on forever. But Mark Lovell and his team are going to come back again. It's in middle of February, somewhere around that time, and I'll let you all those dates. And of course, I'm going to try to utilize my name Beal.
That's right.
As I can do part of this with the square bill crank guy. But when you hear somebody like that processing David Beal,
Yes.
that's a. Didn't you hear him say 15-hour days?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I know they're in it. It's a business, but
Mhm.
think about this, folks. I mean, and we gripe when they're shut down.
Mhm.
Can only do so much.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you think. My hat's off to the processors out
Yeah.
there.
If you think about it, Larry, you know, if you think about 2 or 3 or 4 deer, just 2 or 3 or 4. If you ever butchered a deer at home alone, just think of just and I have oftentimes, and just think just the 1 or 2 you butcher at the house versus a 50 or 100.
Yes.
Even if you got 10 men cutting, that's a lot of meat.
A lot of meat.
A lot of sharp knives.
A lot of that they donate to Hunters for the Hungry too. You good hunters out there that don't need it, and donate it back to Hunters for the Hungry, particularly during the wintertime. It goes to folks who are less fortunate, and we are. And Dave Payne is one of those processors that does that, and I appreciate Dave for doing that.
That's a great
And I
blessing.
will let you know, folks, that Jeremy Dennison of the TWRA will be on with us next week as we kind of wrap up the deer season, as Jeremy always does. And so we'll talk to Jeremy a little bit on next week's show. But I wanted to really hook in there with Dave Payne and think about processing. And, you don't go to college to be a deer processor, okay?
That's right.
You go to the school of hard work.
That's right. Because there's going to be some labor involved. I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah, and they're not sitting back in a recliner cleaning these deer. Okay?
Oh, no. Got that back in work. I got back in motion.
Yes, I know he's got plenty of back pills, I guess. I would if I saw it.
Yeah. Hey, Larry, speaking of reclining.
Let's recline. Well, let's take a break. Shelby, she comes in there so sweet, as only Shelby can do. Let's take a break, close this baby out. We're going to the White River. We're going to talk trout fishing. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I love saying that. I don't know how many times I've said that Dave to Beal over the last 24 years, but it seems like as we go into 2025, I'm enjoying it more.
It sounds marvelous.
It means I'm still around.
That's right.
And we're going to. What better place to stop on our first show of 2025 than one of my all-time favorite places? I go back to this wonderful facility many, many years ago, and me and Mr. Jim Gaston, we just hit it off. I don't know. I went back in that office and I saw all the cash registers and everything else, and all he wanted to talk about was politics. So I had a great time with the late Jim Gaston. and we carried this on to his grandson, Clint, who now runs the operation. And we just got news here recently. We've hooked back up with them, try to get them on at least once a month. And let's start introducing the man who's come back with us doing this, and that's Jake Hanson. He is general manager at Gaston's. Good morning. Good Saturday morning, Jake.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're doing great. And when I told this next guest who's joining us in, I told him that we're going to talk to Jake. He said, I don't know Jake. Jacob. I said, it's Jacob. Okay, it's real. So,
you got me there first.
I had Clint with me. I had Clint with me earlier, and I told him we were doing the show, and he hopped in his plane and flew off. So I don't know what you did to him, Mr. Larry.
All I know, what better two names to start a new year with than two biblical names, Levi and Jacob. Okay, so we'll just start with that then to do these things. We got Levi Moser with us. And Jake, first of all, let's start with you and bring back in Levi, because this is all kind of new to Levi. Talk about, January on the White River at Gaston. I mean, talk about what
so right now the water, they're giving us a bunch of water right now, which is a good thing. It's great for the fish, and the more water they get, the healthier the fish are. So it's a sight for sore eyes to see all this water coming through. I know right now the guys are going out there and slinging, whether they're spin fishing or fly fishing, they're throwing a lot of roe-colored beads, and they're tearing them up on them. So it's a good time in January.
Okay, David Beal, you're listening to that. You love fishing, buddy.
Man, my ears are open.
Got to get you to the White River, and then and Jake, you got a new person on the staff there.
We took Levi on. We're stoked to have him.
Talk about that, Levi, because I know, Levi, you've been associated with the Little Red, and now you're going up. You've got some folks in Gallico Rock. You said that you're now moving to part of the Gaston's team. And we will announce before we start this, Levi has preference because he's from Bologna. Okay, I got to know that, Levi. So that's where all my roots are, Jake. Is Bologna.
All right.
I had no idea about this, Jake, when we started talking to Levi. But talk about the transition, Levi, for you.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I'm super stoked to be part of the team. They're great guys up there, and I actually went out today and, just been learning the river for the past couple of weeks, and exactly what Mr. Jacob said, we've been throwing some beads out there, some egg pattern beads, and today they were pumping a lot of water. I think it was about 26,000 CFS, so you can get really creative with that kind of water. I mean, streamer fishing, Rapala fishing, jerkbait fishing. Like I said, we were fishing pretty deep with the fly fishing. So, so you can get super creative, catch a lot of big fish, and really fun time up there.
Well, what about Levi? Jake mentioned earlier, and you mentioned it too, running water. You cut your teeth on the Little Red, which
yes, sir, I did.
Which has got two generators, I think. Maybe, I don't know. What's
yes,
Little
sir,
Red
that's
got?
correct. Yeah,
So
it's two generators.
You're going to the big party, the big boy.
Yeah, it's like being called up to the big show for sure. It's an adjustment, but there's a lot of similarities in it for sure. The biggest difference as far as fishing, as far as fly fishing and stuff, is just finding that depth and finding where those fish are holding. But it's very similar to the Little Red. I mean, it's not identical by any means. It's much wider, much more water, but there's big fish in both of them, and it's a lot of fun whenever you have a lot of water going.
Talk about it, Jake, because a lot of folks, you guys recommend at Gaston's Resort that don't anybody try to tackle the White River first time by themselves. And I know being a guide at White is very important to Gaston's, right, Jake?
That's it. I always tell people, even if you're an avid fishermen, at least go with the guide one time while you're out there, just to make sure that you can be safe on the water. And then after that, the more times you use them, the more stuff you should learn. Like Levi here, he can spin fish, fly fish, and just those two things combined, like there's a lot of knowledge he can pass on to people. So it's not a learn everything in one trip with a guide, you're going to be good. It's going to be a learning curve for your whole life, really.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Levi, when people walk up and they say, is that a guide? He's 8 years old. I mean, whatever you might say.
Yep. On your 7 with it.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. Talk about being a guide on the White River, and talk about if you learn. I know I've had a lot of friends I fished with out of Gaston, and I know you learn something every day, no matter how old you are.
Absolutely.
River, and it's not just catching fish, is it, Levi? It's also making your clients feel safe to make your clients have a good time. You got to spend 4 hours with somebody. You might spend 4 hours with somebody that, man, they ain't in a very good mood today. So talk about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's always positive vibes out there. I mean, especially when you're out on the water like on the White. It is beautiful out there. There's high cliffs. You know, you can see eagles flying around. It's beautiful country. There's no reason to be in a bad mood when you're out there. You know, the transition is it's not a super hard transition. I expect there to be just as much tourism, if not more tourism, on the White River than the Little Red. It is much bigger, much wider, can hold a lot more boats. So I'm super excited this year. It should be a really fun year, and I'll be a student of the game till I die. So I'll never have it completely figured out, but I'll definitely try to get on them.
Cool.
All right, so talk about it, Jake. Can you catch a big fish in January on the White?
Absolutely. There's already been big. Levi, what kind of fish did you catch today? I saw you out there.
Yes, sir. We caught a few bows. I did hook into one brown trout. It was probably 17 and a half inches, somewhere around there. So you can definitely catch some big ones this time of the year. They are looking up.
Well, I got to get I've got to get my friend David Beal up there and let him experience that, because there's nothing quite like Gaston. And I like the winter time, Jake. I mean, you got any specials time now? What's going on up there as far as accommodations, the restaurants, stuff like that?
Yeah, so right now through the month of February, it's 2 nights or more, it's 40% off. So for your lodging, so that's our big deal with that. But a keynote is on January 31st is a Friday. The restaurant opens back up that day. That's just open up that opens up for the catch release area as well. So it's going to be a great weekend.
Beautiful.
All right. Put that on your schedule, folks. And notice the way he said 40% off through February. Is that right, Jake? Through February?
Through February, and there's still even a discount period into March. We'll do 20% off 2 nights more in March. So.
But if you're looking for a Valentine's trip, Jake, that's a pretty good trip to come St. Valentine's on the White River, right, Jake?
It is.
Hey, I don't know any wives that wouldn't want to go fishing for Valentine's
Day. Well, I know mine would, and everybody knows up there that mine's a better fisherman than I am. So maybe I talked her to taking me. What?
Hey, it's a good compromise because Chef Rick does a great Valentine's Day meal. So if she can tolerate a little bit of fishing, she'll get a great meal out of it. So.
Well, I tell you what, folks, we're going to try to hook up with y'all, Jake and Levi, first Saturday of each month, if that's okay. And because Outdoors of Larry Ray has had a long association with Gaston's Resort, and I know it's going to be a fun time. I put it on my bucket list for this year. In fact, my bucket is getting full right now because I think 5 of them are Gaston. So just
you just need a bigger bucket.
That's right.
That's it.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, Jake Hanson, happy New Year. Levi Moser, happy New Year, guys, and we'll stay in touch.
Larry.
So Jake, give them a little information of where they can go to get information about Gaston.
Hey, if you want to get on our website and get a little ahead of the game and look at what we have, it's just gastons.com. And then when you're ready to book, you just call 431-5202. And anybody that picks up that phone can help you.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great weekend, okay? All right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Jimmy.
Okay.
All right, guys. God bless.
Chip.
You too, guys.
All right. Let's be and you now, David, and Happy New Year to you, buddy. We're going to close out this show pretty soon here.
Yeah, man, that was
being home is tough, but being able to do this thanks to Shelby's talents, that
That's
she
right.
can put this thing together, and I know she does it really quickly and everything. Thanks for Dennis Fuller. He's had a little sickness too, but thanks for him for doing my show intro. And again, go to LarryRay.com. I spell it the correct way, R-E-A, LarryRay.com. And you want to be a sponsor of the show, the website, whatever it might be. It's got all the information up there so you can get in touch with Rachel DeWitt. We're going to roll in 2025, and this young man with me right now, 45 years old, makes me feel like a pup. He's my man and everything, so we'll talk to you. But I'm going to close this baby out. Shelby McCall, thank you for all you've done. I'm hanging on here. But David, as I say every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And we also say, God bless the USA.